On Twitter, if that is your thing, please follow us. We've been kind of tweeting out all day.
Hashtag one time in helmet.
One time that we can.
Put it at your pants.
Yes.
That. What it says.
Yes.
Agreed.
All right. So welcome to This Is Your Brain on Stress.
Alright, I was already up here once, so I'm Holly Sendzik again. I'm from technically the Madison office, IT Career Development Specialist. I actually live in La Crosse, Wisconsin on the Mississippi River. This is my beautiful family. I have a 4-year-old Riley and a 2-year-old Caden. And my lovely, amazing husband who gets the kids for the week so I can come to camp. And then just a fun thing about me is I'm really into running. I did Ragnar this year. We just did the Lhasa Marathon as a relay because now my friends and I are addicted to racing other relays.
So, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Brett Bushman. I am the other Agile coach. I'm the quiet one. I have 4 children, which is stressful all by itself. A 7-year-old, 2 3-year-olds, and a 7-week-old today. So, I just put pictures of my kids because I don't have a full family photo. Because of that.
It's only been 7 weeks.
Yeah, it's only been 7 weeks. Hasn't been that many opportunities. I am from the Eau Claire office. I live up in Chippewa Falls, stone's throw away from the Leinenkugel Brewery, for those of you who like that beer. So, if you ever find your way to the Eau Claire office, let me know. We can go on tour and know some people.
Alright, so goals for today. So some of the takeaways. First of all, we're going to discuss what causes stress. And then we are going to differentiate from healthy stress versus unhealthy stress. And we're going to move into signs to watch for in yourself as well as your team. And we'll also get back into kind of body language in the team setting. And then we'll do some exercises of how to reduce and prevent stress and tension. And then Brett's also going to talk about what's happening in your brain when you're stressed and the long-term effect that it will have on you and
And so this is technically a workshop session. Typically in a workshop, you guys would all be working very heavily in teams, in your groups. We're going to do things just slightly differently. We're going to be doing some stuff by ourselves at first as we learn some techniques to cope with stress as part of this whole thing. We're going to mix them in and then build on it as we go. And then we'll do some group activities at the end. All right? So, causes of stress, right? Different things stress different people out. At the core of most of it is how much you can control your environment, and this is actually kind of fun to be in this position right here, because we're in we get to kind of summarize everything else that's been talked about today. So if you've been at the other sessions, a lot of the stuff you've heard is going to come back around here, because a lot of that stuff deals with what causes stress, right? What makes people uncomfortable, what puts them in that heightened sensation where they feel like they are very much stressed, right? $300 billion is lost from the U.S. economy every year due to stress-related causes. Accidents, people not showing up because they're too stressed, right? Absenteeism, that happens a lot when people start to get stressed. There's a few other ones, but those are the 2 main ones that are caused by stress. There's internal stress that you can kind of do yourself, you know, that you're kind of rolling over in your own head, right? If you have a generalized anxiety disorder, that's kind of constant stress on top of everything else. So that's fun, and if that's you, I feel you, I have the same thing, right? Otherwise, there's all those external sources we just talked about.
Alright, so stress isn't always a bad thing. So there's healthy stress, like public speaking, before you give a presentation. Scary movies, roller coasters, your wedding day. Stress actually calms our body. It gets us to kind of relax and focus. So those are healthy stress. What happens is when it becomes long-term, that's when stress takes a little turn to be unhealthy.
Yeah. We're going to get into the brain science around why that happens. Kind of before we talk about that, there's 3 distinct responses that happen to people when they get stressed. Aaron touched on them earlier, actually, in one of hers, but it's fight, flight, or freeze, right? And they happen under different circumstances. People typically have a very distinct one that they go to most often, right? Mine is fight, right? If I start to get stressed out, I want to fight everything around me. which is why stress reduction techniques are very important for me, especially as a coach. Yeah. Fight the people you're trying to coach. Right? And so I had a foster daughter we adopted her. Now she's a 3-year-old girl. She goes into freeze, like instantly. She's just like, nope, I'm done. Bam, on the ground. She's just out of it. Right? So those are kind of 3 different ways that happen. And we try to keep that social engagement, right? You kind of see this whole graph that's up there. But social engagement, engaging with other people, that tries to keep us out of those 3 modes. And we're going to go through distinct techniques when we recognize what those are to pull us out of that. Right? Because it doesn't matter if you're awesome at stress reduction techniques if you don't recognize when you're stressed. Right? And so a big part of this journey today is going to be talking about recognizing when we're stressed and then recognizing when our teams are stressed, right? So the very first activity we're going to do today is called square breathing. All right, so this is going to be the basis for some of the other stuff we're going to talk about. So if you recognize you're in a fight mode, you're in a flight mode, or you're just freezing up, this is an activity that will pull you out of that state and back into a more productive state because we can't actually be rational when we're stressed. We'll talk about that more when we talk about brain science. So this is going to be our first activity today, all right? Now you guys are going to get out of this what you put into it. So I'm hoping you'll come on this journey with us, all right? Even if it seems silly, just trust us, okay? We got this. All right? This is our circle of trust right here, this whole room. All right, so what we're going to do though, we are going to breathe in for our nose for 4 seconds, and I will count us off. We're going to hold that for 4 seconds, right? If you can't hold your breath for that long, that's okay, right? We're not trying to make people more stressed out. That is not the goal of this activity. We want this to be both high energy, but also relaxing, right? We're going to come out of today very relaxed, hopefully, after all of this. All right, so hold it for 4 seconds. Then we're going to breathe out for 4 seconds, right? And I'll count us off on that too. And then we're going to stop, right? We're just going to kind of not breathe for 4 seconds. And then we'll talk about kind of how everyone's feeling afterwards. All right, so are you ready? Are we good to go with this? All right, ready? Everyone breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now release. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now relax. We're going to do this 2 more times. All right, we're okay. All right, breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Now release. 2, 3, 4. One more time. All right, breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Now release. 2, 3, 4. All right. Does anyone feel more calm? Awesome. Actually, so the lightheadedness is part of it. So there's a specific chemical that gets released when we're stressed. This actually triggers the chemical that counteracts that. That triggers serotonin, right? We get a little bit of oxygen rush to our brain and tells our body, hey, you should release some serotonin and get everything moving again. And make everything kind of go back out there, right? So cortisol is the chemical that is going to put us into a stressed out state. It's what causes the stress response, right? Evolutionary speaking, stress is a good thing, right? If you're running from something that's much bigger than you, you need to be primed and on your game, right? So that's going to trigger the amygdala and the kidneys. They kind of work in concert to release cortisol. It's going to release adrenaline. It's going to get you out there, right? But the problem with that is it doesn't let your prefrontal cortex work. And it also doesn't let, where is it? The hippocampus work correctly. They're both very expensive to run, and that's where our learning comes in, right? Our decision-making processes come in. They have to go into a low power state because otherwise your brain will overheat. You will die. So that's not great, right? So serotonin then gets all that out there and triggers those to come back online, right? So that's why we do that deep breathing exercise, so we can recognize we're in that stressed out state. It's going to pull us back down to earth, right? There's a lot of physical interventions you have to do within yourself to discover that. All right, so that's the short term. Long-term effects, right? When things move from I'm in a stressed out state right now to I'm always stressed out about everything. There's a saying in neuroscience that says the neurons that fire together, they wire together, right? The more you use parts of your brain, especially at the same time, they actually form new connections to each other, right? So if you're constantly triggering the amygdala and all the different parts of your brain that get triggered when you get stressed out, they're actually going to form stronger connections to each other, which means you're going to get stressed out more. And you're going to get angry more often, right? Those are all the things that happen with stress. And the funny thing is your brain is going to remember those specific things that put you into that. And so anytime you encounter something remotely similar to it, you're going to immediately get stressed out and you won't even know why. That's called PTSD, by the way. There's various versions of PTSD. There's light, and there's extremely heavy where it's crippling, right? But it's all PTSD. It's post-traumatic stress disorder, right? There's ways to solve that. Meditation is a big one, right? And those neurons that aren't being used as much, right? The ones in your hippocampus, the ones in your prefrontal cortex that are in charge of all your decision-making processes, your learning, your memory, those are actually getting trimmed. So you're actually losing neurons in the part of your brain that help you learn things, remember people's names, that are helping your decision-making processes. So it's kind of a double whammy, right? So a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about, the techniques we're going to do for our team, is to help them avoid this. Make sense? All right.
All right, so we're going to get into another exercise, the progressive muscle tension exercise. So stress affects us physically, so our muscles tend to tense up. So with this, we actually intentionally are going to tense each muscle group, and then we'll relax and just kind of feel the release of that muscle and the stress. So this is the one we're going to do. It's 15 minutes, so it's kind of long for the day, but it's great to do during a 15-minute break. You can do it at your desk in small muscle groups and parts throughout the day. You can do this when you get home from the day to just kind of unwind and release your tension from everything.
This is kind of a form of meditation. By the way, any of these activities, right, some people have a very physical response to some stuff that happens with their bodies. If for some reason that happens to you, stop. It's cool, right? If you need to leave the room, do it. Not necessarily that's going to happen to anyone. I just want to be aware of it, right?
Yeah, today we're just going to throw out a bunch of different options for you, things you can do. So like I said, it's not for you, just it's okay if you don't do it.
Right, so first, get comfortable. Thing number one with any type of meditation or any exercise like this, you have to be comfortable. You have to be willing to go along with it, right? Even if it seems silly, right? We're going to start the video. This should, in theory, work. I've tested it like 3 times now on this laptop.
Wherever you are right now, take some full, slow breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Allow any distracting thoughts to come and go as if you're watching them floating down a stream. And guide your attention back to your slow and easy breathing. When you're ready, breathe in and make a tight fist with your right hand. Hold. And focus on what that tension feels like to you. Now, breathe out and release all the tension in the fist. Let your hand become nice and loose. Again, make a tight fist with the right hand and hold it. Then, Focus on what your hand feels like to you when it is relaxed. Next, slowly breathe in and bring your right forearm up to your shoulder and tighten your upper arm. Hold. Now, breathe out and release. Again, make a muscle with your right arm. Hold and focus on what the tension feels like in your upper arm. Now, breathe out slowly and relax your arm. Breathe in, and now make a tight fist with your left hand. Hold the tension. Exhale and release. Let the tightness and discomfort flow all the way out of your hand. Again, make a tight fist with your left hand and hold. Exhale and release. Breathe in again and bring the left forearm up to your shoulder to make a muscle. Hold and focus on the tension in your arm. Slowly breathe out and release. Notice how that feels. Again, make a muscle with your left arm and hold it there. Now exhale and release. Now take a long breath in and raise your eyebrows as high as they will go. Hold. Exhale and release. Letting relaxation smooth across your forehead. Breathe in again and raise your eyebrows as high as they will go. Hold. Release and breathe out slowly. Next, squeeze your eyes tightly shut and make a tight smile. Notice how that tension feels. Breathe out and release, relaxing your eyes and cheeks. Breathe in again and squeeze your eyes closed. Hold. Exhale and release the tension. Now, slowly open your mouth wide and hold it there. Exhale and release. Notice what that feels like to you. Again, open your mouth and hold. Release and breathe Next, slowly and carefully pull your head back as though you are looking up at the ceiling. Hold. Exhale and slowly return your head to whatever position is most comfortable to you. Study what that relaxation feels like to you. Again, breathe in and pull your head back slowly. Hold. Exhale and slowly release. Inhale and push your shoulders up towards your ears. Hold them there for a moment. Exhale and release. Let all of the tightness flow completely out of your shoulders. Again, breathe in and bring your shoulders up. Hold them there for a moment. Exhale and release. Let all of the tightness flow completely out of your shoulders. Now, breathe in and push your shoulder blades back, trying to almost touch them together. Hold that tension. Now, exhale, letting your shoulders and chest relax all at once. Again, push your shoulder blades back and your chest forward. Hold. Release and breathe out slowly. Breathe in slowly. And now let your chest and stomach expand all the way, like a balloon filling with air. Hold. Slowly exhale, releasing all the tension from your chest and stomach. Again, breathe in fully and let your stomach and chest push out. Exhale and release. Next, tighten your thighs so that you're pushing yourself up a bit out of your chair and hold. Exhale and release, taking note of what it feels like in your upper legs. Again, tighten up your thighs and hold. Exhale and release. Now, slowly pull the toes on your right foot up toward your shin, stretching your calf muscle. Hold the tension. Exhale and release. Again, pull your toes up, tightening your calf muscle and hold. And release. And breathe out slowly, noticing what that right foot now feels like to you. Breathe in, and now curl the toes of the right foot downwards, and hold that tension. Exhale, and release. Again, curl the toes of your right foot downwards and hold. Exhale and release. And study what that feels like. Next, slowly pull the toes on your left foot up toward your shin, stretching your calf muscle. Hold the tension. Exhale and release. Again, slowly pull your toes up, tightening your calf muscle, and hold. Exhale and release. Breathe in, and now curl the toes of the left foot downwards. 1. Exhale and release. Again, curl the toes of your left foot downwards and hold. Breathe out slowly and release. You have done a great job going through this relaxation exercise. Continue to take some slow, easy breaths. For the next few moments, just notice what your body feels like and enjoy the success you've had in being able to relax your body. Keep that feeling with you throughout the day and remember how good it can feel to be relaxed in your body. Whenever you're ready, take some time to slowly wiggle your muscles around a little. Then, count backwards from 5 to 1 to end this exercise.
How's everyone feel? That wasn't the end, by the way.
You just feel just by tensing the nose up and releasing it, how much lighter your muscles got.
Did everyone feel silly, by the way, especially when you first started it?
Yeah. You're supposed to
Yeah.
rub the mouth.
Yes.
Like that's
And some of these work better for some people than they do others, right? I can't do half of these because my body is a little pain half the time from old football injuries. So, it's important to recognize that, though, for yourself, right? Like, I can't touch my shoulder too much. I need a lot of these, right? But it's important to know that. So, now that we know some techniques, you'll notice, by the way, that the square breathing was a big part of that, right? We're breathing in, we're holding, then we're releasing, then we're building in body stuff, right? Kind of tricks your brain into putting you through those things together. Right, so let's talk about some of the signs of stress in yourself, right? Stress looks differently in everyone, right? Like I itchy when I get stressed.
ice cream for me.
Ice cream. I will eat a whole box of ice cream the second I get stressed. I ate a lot of ice cream working on some of this stuff. Right? You might feel moody, you might feel anxiety. Right? It's gonna look different. And we'll be putting the stuff out as PDFs too if you want this list. So you can download it. I see people taking pictures. Don't worry, this will be available and we'll have like links to a bunch of videos. So if you are interested in doing that. So right? You might eat more, you might eat less, you might sleep more, you might sleep less. I also get insomnia, right? So I binge eat and then I get insomnia at the same time. So it's just a world of ice cream all night. And then followed by popcorn. But it's important to know what your signs are, right? If you're going to recognize what the stress is in yourself, do a lot of deep breathing when I recognize that I'm actually, like 2 boxes in. Sometimes it takes a while.
Girl Scouts love him.
Yes.
That's all it
Yeah. I have to keep sweets out of the house. Just completely. Alright. Good. Good. Alright. Perfect. Alright, so in your team, all of these signs are going to show up in your team, in your teams as well. Right? Everyone. Oh, we got a lot of buttons here. That was stressful. Right? So all these things are going to show up in your team. Everyone, right? Everyone has the capability to be a leader on their team. If you're starting to recognize these, hopefully you can talk to the members of your team. And we talked about we can't make good decisions when we're in a stressed out state, right? And there's a lot of external stuff that can put us in a stressed out state. Right? Say we decide to convert a mainframe to an iSeries server, right? And people start working 60-hour weeks. That might be slightly stressful for a bunch of teams, and then they cancel it, right? That's a lot of stress. Right? But these are the kind of things we can use to help our teams through that. And if we can get a random group of strangers on board with doing meditation, hopefully you can get your teams on board with doing something like that to calm them down, especially in the middle of a meeting, right? So what are the actual signs? Right? Concentration, they can't listen, right? There's no concentration. A lot of confusion, a lot of times they need stuff to be handed to them, right? They've lost their ability to kind of self-organize. They've lost their ability to self-start on a lot of stuff, right? They need stuff that is a prime way to tell when your team is getting stressed out. They're just like, I don't care, just tell me what to do at this point, right? They're done. Right? Increased drama, then quotes. I don't know how to define drama, but you know when you see it.
Alright, the body language. So,
How's favorite subject?
yeah, favorite subject today. Erin and I kind of touched on this earlier, but ways to spot tension in meetings is just reading the room. People are looking up at the clock, they're trying to get out of there. We talked about if they're shifting their bodies and they want to leave. But some main things to look for in your team. People rolling their eyes. People just obviously shaking their head, just that. You can see right away that there's disagreement. Fidgeting in a nervous manner. Erin said earlier in the one that she clicks her fingers a lot and she's uncomfortable. So just those cues of your team being uncomfortable. Is there tension in the room? Is there something else? What's causing that? If you see people start to whisper to one another or write notes on a notepad and we're passing it back and forth. We also talked earlier about your online presence. WebEx. Do you see people all of a sudden they're looking down? Are they texting? Are they on their phone? All of a sudden they're looking at the other screen and typing. More than likely, they're sending chats back and forth to each other during the meeting. Staring at the speaker in an intimidating way. And with that, you might have people who are more extra. I'm not one for confrontation. I avoid it at all costs. So I'm not gonna be the one to stare at somebody. But I'm definitely gonna be looking around and be like, is anyone else disagreeing here? So when you start to see people kind of look to other people to see how they're reacting, to see like, okay, is there more people? Can we, will there be confrontation? Yawning if they're uninterested. Starting to play with their phones. Anything else to add?
You can usually tell by the way with the phone. What kind of message does it send when it's sitting on the desk right there? And I'm the worst at this, by the way. Just kind of pulling out. Right? You don't have their full attention. They're checking out. They might be stressed. It might just be a long day, right? You might not be the cause of the stress. That's important to recognize. But it's important to recognize when it's happening so that you can actually have productive conversations.
Alright, so ways to reduce tension and conflict. First of all, before you go into a meeting, you kind of want to know the atmosphere of the group, the dynamic of the people that you're going to be meeting with. And then, in order order to have a calm meeting, it should be kind of organized. So start with creating an agenda. And the first thing you want to do with the agenda is send it out to the team. Say, hey, here's what's on the agenda for the day. Does anyone have anything to add? Any you want to change on it? So then it gives them a voice. But now if there's an agenda, they're also more than likely not going to kind of start to create their own agenda during the meeting. Depersonalization. So if you have people talking on a project and I think that Aaron has better strengths than Brett, so Aaron should be doing this task. Well, let's remove the names from that. Look at the strengths of Aaron, look at the strengths of Brett, but remove the name. If someone brings up a topic or an idea for a project, it's hard, but we need to remove the people and look at the actual facts at hand. And then we want to remove and reduce any threat. One thing that people are going to get uncomfortable and stressed about is if they feel like their role is being threatened, their reputation, an idea that they hold dear. If you're threatening that, then that's going to create stress in them and tension. So sometimes you need to just discuss the what, the why, the how with the team in order to clear up any unknowns with them. However, in some cases, they might have a right to feel threatened and it might actually be affecting their role. So a lot of these cases, we can sense the tension, we can see it. So one important thing is just being able to call it out. Saying, hey, we're just gonna take a little time to check in with them or see if anyone has any problems they want to bring up. Just acknowledging that tension and the stress in the room might be enough to diffuse it. There might be also situations that involve some sensitive personal issues that shouldn't be discussed in the meeting. Again, acknowledge it and just say, hey, you know what, why don't you and I meet one-on-one later and we'll just take it offline. So just acknowledging it and then figuring out a way that you and your team are going to handle it. You might also just need to take a time out. Take 5 minutes for everyone to collect their thoughts, calm their nerves. Like Brett said, when you're stressed, you're not thinking clearly, you're not thinking rational. So sometimes just taking a small little break for everyone to kind of recollect themselves and calm down. And then your team also just having that openness. You know, if you feel yourself being agitated, don't be afraid to just get up and walk out.